Good morning and welcome to this morning's version or edition of the Weather Now. Time now is 11:05. We don't have too much going on out there. Want to first give you a check of the Safe Touch Security First Alert Tropical Update. The only player in the game is Tropical Storm Debbie. Sustained winds 40 miles per hour, moving off to the north and east now at 17 miles per hour. Pressure is definitely not all that low, 29.59, and moving off to the north and to the east as mentioned. That pressure going to be rising here likely through the rest of the day. Sustained winds at 45 miles per hour. That is weaker than yesterday's 50. So the weakening trend has begun. And as we look in on the forecast, it's forecast to basically degenerate, lose that tropical status, not be subtropical either. So just altogether weakening, losing any sort of subtropical, tropical, I should say, designation here within the next 12 to 18 hours. May hang on a little bit tonight and early tomorrow, but it's rapidly moving into cooler water. So this is going to impact the shipping lanes, really even further north than that here. No significant issues with Debbie. And as we look at the rest of the Atlantic Basin, including the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea, and the Atlantic Ocean, it's pretty quiet. Again, if you're just joining us, time now is 11:06. Want to start with the tropics, talk about hurricane preparedness week, what we're talking about today, and look ahead to your forecast for the rest of the day. So big picture, there's Debbie, little Debbie up here, just one little ball of thunderstorms. Some storminess here off the east coast. Conditions unfavorable for development as it looks right now, just loosely organized, kind of ahead of a trough there. Some shower and thunderstorm activity here, Gulf of Honduras, also the western Bay of Campeche and Gulf of Mexico. Caribbean is quiet, but as we look off to the south and to the east, roughly in this area, we're going to call it the MDR. Highlighted in red, main development region. August, September, we look way out there for these big tropical waves to emerge into the ocean, and one or two of these, or a small percentage of them, become tropical systems, and then some of the bigger systems tend to come out of this neck of the woods. Right now, we are tracking a couple of tropical waves out there, and you can see the very tall thunderstorm clouds with these. One well off the coast, one just south of the Cape Verde Islands, and another one here over, actually another two here over mainland Africa. These are moving, though, even though they're having a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity with them, into an environment that is unfavorable for tropical development. There's quite a bit of African Saharan dust out there, dry air, wind shear cutting off the tops of these thunderstorms and keeping them in check. So, to simplify it, we're not expecting any tropical development, nor is the Hurricane Center within the next 5 days, and really the next several days looking pretty quiet. But we'll have to be watching these waves, because as soon as conditions improve out here, or if they can, survive that trip closer to the United States, then and if they encounter more favorable conditions, that could develop. But nothing officially forecast at this time. So that is good news. But today, Thursday, the second to last day of Hurricane Preparedness Week. Today we're talking about supplies that you may need. You may have watched our live segment, myself and Saria Sandlin this morning, the news at daybreak. If you missed it, we have the information. We're going to be posting it to WTOC.com. Already on the weather page, we have some of this info. And I want to show you my Facebook page, WTOC Cutter Martin. I simply just took a screenshot, or Saria Sandlin did, from the newscast this morning, and I put a link up with not just tips and suggestions for items that you should have when making a hurricane supply checklist or kit, but also on that same page, general preparedness tips, even aside from what you need to pack in your supply kit. So a lot of good information there on my Facebook page. We're going to be clipping the video, the entire live segment this morning, writing up a little bit of information, adding in text form there, and posting it to WTOC.com here within the next hour or so. Shifting gears and talking about the forecast. Some of you may have been woken up by thunder, lightning, the flashes last night. Early in the morning, we did have a few storms out there, well north and west of the city of Savannah. One near Port Wentworth, Garden City, up into Jasper County, too. That's about as far south and east as those storms made it. So as we go back 12 hours ago, to 11:09 p.m. A lot of storminess up the I-20 corridor, Orangeburg, South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, through Augusta, back to Macon. And that was at 11:09 p.m. last night. So if you watched the news at 11 with meteorologist Jamie Erdahl, she was talking about that. They moved in and absolutely fizzled 1:30 to 2:30. Still a couple of thunderstorms in the region, and you can see here by 3:37 just a couple of sprinkles in the low country, largely quiet, nothing really going on. And tracking forward in time, going to right now, here's what we're going to be watching today once again. We have a lot of energy kind of rotating around a ridge of high pressure and a trough of low pressure to our west. These little waves of energy moving off to the south and to the east. So, in addition to our little isolated pop-ups we may see here, typical summertime pattern, we're going to need to watch up in middle Georgia, upstate of South Carolina, North Georgia to see what develops out here, because it too, like last night, will try to make a run at the coastal empire in the low country later today into the overnight hours. All right, I've been talking quite a bit. Time now is 11:10. Going to go to the WTOC TV Facebook page. You can watch us almost anywhere. The Roku app, Amazon Fire, News app, Weather app, Twitter, Facebook, where we're streaming right now. But you can ask your questions on social media, Twitter and Facebook specifically. And getting to questions maybe coming in. Jason says, can you have them name a Hurricane Amber? I've called my wife that over 2 decades. They make the list 4 years in advance, and to my knowledge, try to remember the names, I don't remember seeing an Amber. I don't think there's ever really been a Hurricane Amber, but they're probably trying to save some because, as we retire certain names, the list gets harder and harder to complete. But the World Meteorological Organization, the WMO, just set this list years in advance, both for the Atlantic Basin, the ocean there, and the northeastern Pacific side. Susan, hello to you. Inge, thank you for watching. Gladys, hello. Tanya, good morning. Jaish, hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Apologize if I didn't. Good morning, Vicky. Jason says, happy 3rd degree burn day. It ain't that bad outside. It's hot, it's humid. UV indices are high, so if you're outside for an extended period, even with a little bit of cloud cover, you still need to layer on the sunscreen out there. Hey, Kathy. Jason is having fun this morning. Glad you're doing that, Jason. And again, forecast-wise, not too much going on. We're watching North Georgia, Middle Georgia for new storms to develop later today and possibly impacting portions of our area later this evening and tonight. I still think it's going to be scattered. The risk of severe weather is low, but not zero. 1 or 2 storms could become gusty, like yesterday down in Pierce, Brantley counties, Ware County as well. This is a forecast model, so if you're kind of tuning me out at this point in the weather forecast, time to tune back in and look at the screen. I'm going to walk through hour by hour. You can see a map here. Many communities: Screven, Jessup, Wayne County, Baxley, Appling County, Swainsboro, Emanuel County, Statesboro, Bullock County. Here's the entire area, Low Country and Coastal Empire. Now we're quiet, so it's doing a pretty good job so far this morning. By 1:30 to 2:30, and the exact timing has kind of fluctuated this morning, but in general, the hotter we get, the more likely we are to see 1 or 2 storms kind of erupt or pop up with those growing clouds out there. So maybe inland, west of I-95, an isolated storm or 2 on radar. You may notice that in the WTOC weather app by 2:30. Then going deeper into the afternoon, look what happens. It's middle Georgia, North Georgia stuff that tries to move into the inland coastal empire, and as well as the isolated pop-up Statesboro, maybe as far south and east as I-95, the interchange there was 16, including the Savannah Metro and Low Country. Lower rain chances today here at Sapelo, St. Simons, Glenn County. You may get an isolated pop-up trying to scoot up out of Florida or overhead, but unlike yesterday, I think today's greatest rain chance is actually inland and a little bit further north of I-16, or at least along the corridor there. And as we go later into the evening, 7:30 to 8 o'clock, we start to see rain wind down. There's still going to be some storms on radar. If you have dinner plans tonight, this evening, after all, it's Thursday evening, you have plans downtown, I suggest you check radar, bring along the weather app with you, because we could have rain impacting a couple of plans. By 11:30, this says we're quiet, but we still have a lot of storms up here in North Georgia. Trying to move on to the south and to the east, but the forecast models at least indicate that this may weaken and have more of an easterly direction of movement, keeping it up in North Georgia, the upstate of South Carolina. So it's a late afternoon, an early-ish evening through about 8-9 p.m. rain chance today. It will be scattered. Not everyone sees it, but your greatest rain chance today includes communities like Swainsboro, Miller, Metter, Millen. I always get those two messed up. Also Statesboro, Sylvania, Screven County, Hampton County, Effingham County, Savannah Metro, Low Country. About a 30 to 40% chance I-95, Savannah Metro, Low Country, though Hilton had only about a 20 to 30% chance of rain. Going further to the north and west, a 50% chance of rain in Swainsboro or so. In fact, I can break this down for you community by community. So, hey, Ruby, thank you for watching. Tracy says, why do they retire the names and how many times is a name used before it is? A name is only retired if it has to be determined by a panel, especially destructive, deadly, had a huge significant impacts like Harvey, Maria, those type of storms are retired. But a panel has to decide on that, and they can be used an infinity number of times if that name is number retired. We've had several Allisons before. Allison in 2001 had it retired. We've had multiple Claudettes and stuff like that. So it's up to that panel how destructive it is out of respect. It's kind of like when you retire a jersey or something of a player, you retire that name, you don't use it again, but that is up to the panel, and it just depends on how bad it is and how much damage it caused there. So back to rain chances for the day. South of the Altamaha River and inland, I'm going to keep you at about 30 to 40% chance of rain, but really looking a little bit drier here. You can probably lower this even from this morning's update down to about 30% chance down here south of the Altamaha. One of the drier locations, probably Glenn, McIntosh counties, but you may see an isolated storm roll up from Florida. Further to the north, notice rain chances increase. Reidsville, Vidalia, Sylvania, Swainsboro, 40% chance all the way back to I-95 north of the Altamaha River. And in the low country, a 30% chance of rain. Ridgeland, Beaufort, 20%, Hilton Head, 40 to 50% chance up in Hampton County. So just kind of showing you the trends here today. That is what we are watching. Going through the extended forecast, and today we do have a chance of rain, yes. We have additional chances for rain tomorrow, but looking pretty isolated at this time. But want to break down the extended forecast because we have rain chances increasing gradually so. Saturday, Sunday likely the wetter day of the weekend compared to Saturday. It is still not looking like a washout of a weekend, but we will have some rain around. You're going to have to pay a little extra attention, more so than maybe yesterday when it was pretty quiet all day, to radar and to the forecast, especially if you have outdoor plans. Monday, Tuesday, not quite washed out territory, but looking a little bit wetter, 50 to 60% chance of rain, scattered to numerous showers, couple of thunderstorms as it looks right now. We're going to be fine-tuning, updating that extended forecast, though. Wednesday may start to dry out and head back down to more typical summertime rain chances here locally. Thank you for watching. Tracy, Veronica waving at you as well. Again, time now is 11:16. Do me a favor, just check back in with the forecast today. Chief Meteorologist Dave Turley's in the Weather Center updating the forecast. He'll present that to you at noon. I want to take you to the WTOC weather app, reminding you on this busy Thursday where so many are at work or running errands. If you're walking through the grocery store, you have your phone in the hand, sitting in office, at your lunch break, wherever, doing whatever, you can stream the forecast. All you have to do on the home screen is just scroll down a little bit. Recorded forecast is already there from this morning, but the latest and greatest, you can watch it simply by clicking Watch Live. You get a brief little ad, and you can tune into our newscast during normal newscast time or during breaking news. We're also going to be updating videos in the WTOC weather app. You can see one up at the top I recorded this morning. So a lot of ways to stay in touch with us. We'll be watching to see if and when these storms develop today, keeping an eye on them and passing along all the information from the Weather Center to you, for example, on the WTOC weather app. Time now 11:17. Chief Meteorologist Dave Turley will be on your TV and in your app here coming up in less than 50 minutes.